There's a powerful image baked into our collective consciousness, an archetype polished by decades of Hollywood films and dramatic reality television. It's the lone survivor, silhouetted against a rugged landscape, master of their environment. They move with a quiet confidence, armed not with heavy gear, but with a collection of brilliant, almost magical, life-saving tricks. We've seen them fashion a compass from a leaf, suck venom from a snakebite, or find life-sustaining water in the most barren of places. This romanticized vision suggests that survival is a series of clever hacks, a test of ingenuity that the quick-witted will always pass. It's a comforting thought that should we ever find ourselves lost in the wild, we could simply access this library of pop culture knowledge to see us through. But what if that library is filled with lies? What if the common sense passed down through action movies and viral internet posts is not just wrong, but lethally counterproductive? The wilderness doesn't follow a script. It is an impartial and often brutal force, and it does not distinguish between confidence and competence. In a genuine life-or-death scenario, where there is no camera crew waiting just out of frame and no medical team on standby, following the wrong advice can escalate a dangerous situation into a fatal one. The very hack you believe will save you could be the one that seals your fate. This is not about niche mistakes. It's about widely believed myths that have become so pervasive, they feel like fact. We are going to dissect some of the most dangerous of these survival myths, exploring the science and logic that exposes them for what they are, traps for the unprepared. The classic scene is etched into our minds. A weary wanderer, lips cracked and vision blurred, stumbles through a sun-scorched desert. All hope seems lost until they seed a towering, majestic saguaro cactus. With their last ounce of strength, they cut it open, and a clear, life-saving liquid pools in the wound. They drink deeply, and their life is saved. It is a symbol of nature's hidden bounty. It is also a complete and dangerous fantasy. For the vast majority of cacti you might encounter, attempting this will not quench your thirst, it will hasten your death. The pulp of most desert cacti, including the famous saguaro and most prickly pears, is not a hidden reservoir of pure water. Instead, it's a fibrous mash saturated with toxic alkaloids and acids like oxalic acid. These are the plant's chemical defenses designed to stop animals from stealing its precious stored moisture. When a dehydrated human ingests this fluid, the body reacts violently. The acids and alkaloids are profoundly nauseating, leading to severe vomiting and diarrhea. Instead of gaining hydration, you begin to purge the vital fluids you already have, accelerating the very process you're trying to stop. It puts an immense strain on your kidneys, which are already struggling to function without enough water. The effect is less like drinking from a water fountain and more like drinking a cocktail of soap and acid. While it's true that a very specific species, the fishhook barrel cactus, contains water that is generally safe to drink, the ability to positively identify this one species among hundreds of others under extreme duress is a gamble no one should take. For all practical purposes, the life-saving cactus is a myth. It is not a canteen, but a trap. Another high-stakes drama plays out frequently in fiction. The sudden, sharp sting of a snakebite on the trail. Panic sets in, but a hero emerges. Without hesitation, they produce a knife, carve a crude X over the puncture wounds, and press their mouth to the injury, sucking vigorously to draw out the deadly poison. They spit a bloody, venomous concoction onto the ground, and the victim is saved. This act of gritty heroism is one of the most enduring survival myths and one of the most foolish. In reality, the cut and suck method is a theatrical gesture that accomplishes nothing positive while actively making a bad situation much, much worse. The moment a venomous snake strikes, its specialized fangs inject venom deep into the tissue. From there, it is absorbed with incredible speed into the lymphatic system and bloodstream, which begins circulating it throughout the body. The idea that a person could suck out a meaningful amount of this venom is pure fantasy. Medical studies have shown that even immediate suction removes a clinically insignificant amount, often less than 1%. You simply cannot get it out. What you do accomplish is a cascade of new problems. Slicing open the wound with a non-sterile knife creates a large, open injury, causing further tissue and nerve damage while inviting a severe bacterial infection. Pressing your mouth to this wound then introduces a host of new bacteria directly into the victim's bloodstream. Furthermore, if the would-be rescuer has even a tiny cut or sore on their lips or in their mouth, The venom can enter their system, creating a second medical emergency. The correct response to a snakebite is the complete opposite of this frantic, damaging procedure. Stay as calm as possible to slow your heart rate, keep the affected limb below the level of the heart, remove any tight clothing or jewelry, and get to a hospital with the utmost speed. The only true cure for envenomation is anti-venom, and every moment wasted on useless and harmful theatrics is a moment you are not getting closer to it. Of all the wilderness survival advice, few maxims are as well known or as dangerously oversimplified as this one. If you encounter a bear, play dead. It has been repeated so often that it feels like an immutable law of nature. The reality, however, is a terrifying coin toss. Following this advice could save your life, or it could sign your death warrant, and the outcome depends entirely on the species of bear and the reason for its attack details the average person is ill-equipped to determine in a moment of pure panic. The strategy of playing dead is primarily recommended for encounters with a grizzly or brown bear that is behaving defensively. This is the most common type of attack. You have surprised the bear, stumbled upon its cubs, or gotten too close to its food source. The bear is not trying to eat you, it is trying to neutralize what it perceives as a threat. In this specific scenario, if the bear makes physical contact, dropping to the ground, lying flat on your stomach with your hands protecting the back of your neck, can signal to the bear that you are no longer a danger. Once the threat is neutralized, the bear will often disengage and leave. But if the bear charging you is a black bear, playing dead is arguably the worst possible thing you can do. While black bears are generally less aggressive than grizzlies, a true, unprovoked attack from one is almost always predatory in nature. It is not scared of you, it has identified you as a potential source of food. If you drop to the ground and play dead, you are simply making its job easier. You are behaving like prey. In this situation, you must do the opposite. You must fight for your life. Make yourself look as large as possible, shout, and use anything at your disposal: rocks, branches, your fists, or ideally, bear spray to fight back. The goal is to convince the bear that you are not easy prey and are more trouble than you are worth. Herein lies the fatal flaw of the play dead rule. It presents a single, simple solution to a complex problem. Can you, in a heart-pounding moment of terror, reliably distinguish a brown-colored black bear from a small grizzly? Can you accurately diagnose its intent as defensive or predatory? For most people, the answer is no. Relying on a simplistic maxim in such a situation is a grim lottery, and the stakes are the highest imaginable. A similar kind of dangerous intuition applies to cold weather survival, specifically in the case of frostbite. When your fingers, toes, or nose become numb, pale, and waxy, the instinctive response is to create friction. People vigorously rub the affected skin or even use snow in a desperate attempt to restore warmth and circulation. It feels like the right thing to do, a way to force life back into the frozen tissue. But this action is horrifically destructive. It takes a serious injury and makes it catastrophically worse. Frostbite means that the water inside your body's cells has frozen, forming microscopic, razor-sharp ice crystals. Your tissue is literally in a crystalline state. When you rub this frozen flesh, you are grinding those tiny daggers against one another and into the delicate cell walls. It is the internal equivalent of rubbing sandpaper on your organs, causing massive cellular destruction that may be impossible to repair. You are not warming the tissue, you are shredding it from the inside out. The correct treatment for frostbite is gentle, passive rewarming. The affected area should be sheltered from further cold and slowly brought back to temperature, ideally by immersing it in lukewarm water not hot for 20 to 30 minutes. You must never use high direct heat like a campfire or a heating pad because the numb skin cannot feel pain and a victim can sustain severe burns without even realizing it. The tissue is in its most fragile state, and brute force is its greatest enemy. From the desert to the forest to the frozen tundra, we see a common thread. The most dangerous survival hacks are often those that feel the most intuitive or look the most heroic. We believe we can drink from a cactus, suck poison from a wound, follow one simple rule for bears, or rub life back into frozen limbs. In each case, the truth is less dramatic but infinitely more effective. The reality is that survival is not a collection of clever tricks. It is a discipline of knowledge, preparation, and, above all, humility. The greatest threat in the wilderness is not the snake, the bear, or the cold. It is the echo chamber of misinformation that arms us with false confidence. The ultimate survival skill is not a spectacular hack learned from a screen, but the quiet, critical thinking that allows you to question what you think you know. It is the wisdom to understand that in a battle between a popular myth and an unforgiving reality, reality always wins.